My guest here today on the phone is the former singer of the band Martyr, and now the voice of Act of Defiance. Please welcome Henry Derrick. Hi Henry, how are you?
Hi there, I'm just fine. It's pretty early here in sunny California, but yeah, I got my coffee and ready to answer some questions.
Perfect. At first, I want to know how the music come in your life.
Music came into my life very early. I had kind of an interesting upbringing, I guess. I grew up in the southeast in a little, small town in Georgia. And, there wasn't a whole lot to do. There wasn't a lot going on. I was kind of a weird kid, very reclusive, kind of reserved, read Stephen King novels and listened to, the wrong kind of music at the time, I guess. So yeah, it was kind of a essential discovery for me at a very pivotal point in my life. I think that happens for every child at some point or another, whether or not a kid discovers Legos or his favorite football team or his favorite rock and roll band. For me, it just happened to be rock and roll, and I've been paying the price ever since.
Henry, who inspired you?
Inspirations as a guitar player. I started out as a guitar player. I never ever wanted to sing at all. Starting out, I just wanted to play guitar. And the biggest influence on me was Black Sabbath. Tony Iommi is my favorite guitar player of all time. I know I'm not alone in saying that because, he kind of is the godfather of, the riff, so to speak. Aside from that, I really like Jim Martin, Faith No More. I remember seeing, the Epic video, and he was wearing the Cliff Burton T-shirt, and his whole look and everything and his style. I thought it was really wacky, and I kind of wanted to be that guy for a minute. And then getting into classic rock, getting exposed to a bunch of the music my dad listened to. Music from the 60s and 70s, Creedence Clearwater Revival and Steppenwolf and Blue Cheer and Led Zeppelin. Those bands were influences, early on. Those were the bands that got me interested in heavier music, And then when I became a teenager, I started to dig a lot more for music. This was before the internet, not to give out too much about my age, because I'm not an old guy, but I was fortunate enough to come up during a time before the internet where tape trading existed. And tape trading used to be a big thing back in the day because, that's how people got exposed to a lot of underground, metal bands. And in the early to mid 90s, I would say I really started getting interested in a lot of Scandinavian bands, a lot of melodic death metal, a lot of black metal, coming out of Norway and Finland and Sweden around that time. So, as far as influences from the more extreme side of things, I'm definitely, I'll have to put bands like Dissection, Dark Tranquillity, In Flames, Soulwork, and then a lot of the quintessential black metal bands from the time too, like Burzum, Dark Throne, and all that. I'm just kind of all over the place in terms of influences, but I think that's kind of what makes me really reach for more, like stylistically, vocally, I think I have a lot to offer, and it's kind of due to the fact that I'm just really interested in all different forms of music. So there you go.
For me, music equals emotion. How the music help you to live your emotion?
Well, music has definitely been the number one thing in conveying emotion. I've always tried to think of it this way. someone asks you how your day is going, your first response is that, oh, it's fine, hey, how are you? I'm great, I'm good, et cetera, et cetera. That might not always be the case. And in some cases, I think that's, you're lying to yourself every single day. And with art, whether it's film or literature or music or, or whatever, it's, you don't have to do that. You can be free. You have a freedom. There is a freedom there, and you can definitely go all out. You can say precisely how you feel and not have any shame about it. Not have any remorse about like, oh wow, I just ruined this person's day because they asked me how my day was and I told them, I dropped like a huge, bombshell on them. It's like, it's not very fair. So, I think that's one thing to think about in terms of emotion. I'm a pretty emotional person. I'm pretty moody. I'm very sensitive to my surroundings and things that are happening in the world. I think a lot of creative people are. And I think when you are, you really have to take that into consideration and use it to your advantage. And you got to write these things down. You have to put them into your art. You have to get them out. I think that's very important as an artist.
In the past, you played with Joey Jordison in the band Scar the Martyr. I know that this band put you on the map for a lot of people. How was the experience to share the stage, to produce an album with Joey Jordison, one of the biggest names of the industry?
It was an honor. It is an honor still, just being part of that. Making an album with Joey was definitely a great experience in my life. And I'm proud of the album that we made. I think it all came together fairly quickly, and it was like a whirlwind of creativity, making that record with him. And, he's multi-talented in a big way. And I think a lot of people know that, but I don't think a lot of people really understand like how much he brings to the table musically. And even in Slipknot, he was more than a drummer, he really did bring a lot of his personality to the songs. And, that was the goal for Scar the Martyr, I will say that like having his name, well, that's not I'm not putting it the right way. Having his name at, top billing is well deserved, but at the same time, it was a little awkward and strange for me to come in, being that guy and having to really prove myself. So, it was difficult experience as well, if I'm being honest. But, I'm proud of the record. I think we made some really incredible music together. Like we made some really good songs, and that, people will hear 2 decades from now and they will be like, wow, what, how did I miss this? But, it definitely also, just really, opened some doors for me in a big way creatively. I got to do some things that I've never done before. I never thought that I would, be playing guitar on a record like that either with, 8 strings on a guitar. That's not my style, but we came together and we were able to make something special, I think.
The last time I talked with Joey was in December of last year. He said to me that to separate the Scar the Martyr and form a new band with Kill and Chase, named Gignac for the band, have been one of the toughest decisions he took on his career. What is your opinion about the end of the band?
What is my opinion about Joey disbanding?
Yeah.
Or I left, but it was kind of mutual in the sense that it was more business related stuff than anything. You know, I mean, Joey and I did butt heads creatively in some ways, but I'm a strong personality sometimes, and if I feel passionate about something, I can't. You know, I think as an artist, you got to stick to your gut, and you got to, you really got to be kind of a bull sometimes. And, he's like that too. So maybe in some ways we didn't always see eye to eye, but, I think he did what he had to do in terms of moving forward. I think that's what anyone does. When one door closes, another one opens, and you take that opportunity, and you have to try to keep moving forward, and pushing the limits, pushing yourself, creatively. And I do think, starting Vimic, getting a new singer, all that stuff, kind of rebranding the whole, it's like a whole new band, obviously, with the exception of Jed. I think that was the right choice. I think that was a good call. Not to say that I'm, that I'm an expert over here, but yeah, the plain and simple, you cannot duplicate someone else's voice or presence or personality. I mean, if you're Van Halen, you can get another singer,
yeah,
but you're not going to be David Lee Roth. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm happy for those guys and what they're doing. I think it's what he had to do, and obviously it's what he wanted to do. So, I definitely can support that.
How it is to start another new band in this jungle, because the music industry is a jungle. And after, tell me the story of your new band, Act of Defiance.
Chris contacted me initially because he liked what I did in Scar the Martyr, and I knew that he was a great guitar player. And then at the time, I didn't know that Sean was even part of this new project, or Act of Defiance, I should say. But then, come to find out, Sean and Chris, obviously they were in Megadeth for a number of years. They sent me some demos, and I jumped on it. I had no doubt in my mind. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing next. It wasn't even like an audition. I just knew that, whoever they have in mind, whoever is like auditioning or whatever, or sending them tapes, I knew it was mine, and I think you have to think like that. I think you have to just know your worth and know what you're capable of, and it was kind of an easy thing. I'm like, all right, cool. This is actually something I want to do, and I would really be interested in. So we, one demo at a time, we just kind of, put the pieces of the puzzle together, and there you go.
You launched your first album with this band in 2014, and now the second album of the band named Old Scar will be released soon. What can you tell me about this new album?
So the new Act of Defiance record comes out September 29th, and it is entitled Old Scars, New Wounds. And I came up with that title. It is a lyric in a song called Conspiracy of the Gods. And I think the title it holds a lot of weight for me. It's like waking up every day with this kind of feeling of impending doom, whether it's an emotional scar or something that happened years ago or something that happened yesterday. It's like every day is a battle, and also, like everyone's out to get a piece of you every single day. It's kind of like, I feel it, I do, and I know a lot of people do too. It's just, again, maybe it's one of those things that we can't talk about in our daily lives, so, but the album definitely has a lot to offer. There are songs that are really heavy that have, tons of screaming and, growling and all the macho metal guy stuff. And then there are songs that are more melodic, that have pop sensibilities. Hope that doesn't scare people away, but I'm not saying that they could ever be played on the mainstream radio, but I was able to put my personality into these songs a lot more. I was able to write some riffs and play some guitar and put, I think, putting that kind of stamp on a record too really means a lot to me. And lyrically and musically, Chris's solos I think everything is just a step up from the first album that we did. Chris's solos are just incredible. He definitely pushed himself even further. And Matt's songwriting is really great. He wrote some songs for the record that I'm really happy with. And it's a step up, and that's what you try to do. You try to outdo yourself each and every time, and I think we did that. And there's a lot of excitement about it surrounding the record. We just came out with our first video for the song MIA, and as of right now, I'm pretty stoked.
You talk about the new video from MIA. What is the reaction of the fan base now?
I think people are, the people that didn't give us a chance the first time around, I think some of those people are coming around and they're kind of reevaluating their opinion, like, hey, wait a minute, this is actually pretty cool, and it's not like the first single from the first record, and today's society, people have such short attention spans, where like they'll listen to 30 seconds of a song and just shut it off, and it's unfortunate, but I don't know, maybe this song really caught a lot of people off guard. Maybe it was able to gain their attention, but overall it's been really positive. A lot of people have reached out to us, with excitement, basically really wanting to know, hey, when are you guys coming to, when are you touring? Can't wait to get the album. And obviously that's all very inspiring. That's what you want. That's why we do this. We don't do this to make millions of dollars, obviously. We do it for ourselves, first of all, and second of all, you want people to be excited about what you're doing. So that seems to be the case.
Did you ever played in Quebec or Montreal before? And if yes, what is your point of view of the crowd?
Yeah, I love playing there. We love playing there as a band. Montreal is always like incredible. The crowd is so amazing. Definitely more of a European vibe, which I love. I mean, I like people just seem really excited and enthusiastic about music overall in general, and you don't always get that here in the States or, in different parts of Canada too. It's just kind of like, oh, it's another day, it's another show, it's another band coming to town. It's kind of like, that attitude. But yeah, I love the enthusiasm from people. I love that people are passionate about music, and they're really, I just think as a people, they're really passionate, they have a lot to offer, and they, I love when people just want to give back to, whether it's a band or, an art exhibition or anything. Just, anytime that people can be excited about art, I think that's, that kind of renews my faith in humanity sometimes.
All right. Just as one for you, Henry, tell me, what is your dream? What do you want to accomplish, or what can we wish for you?
My dream, the dream. I don't know. I thought I was living the dream here in California, but that's just what people say. That's not the case. Well, I just want to continue being creative, and I would like to do so on a bigger, broader scale, and I would like to keep collaborating with new people and meet new people who are just as creative and inspired as I am. I want to, I think there's a stigma that comes along with heavy metal and, like, I don't know, just this kind of music overall where people think that, like, oh, you have to be miserable and depressed and and you know, you have to just kind of coexist in this kind of miserable mode of, you know, it's like there's that kind of thing. But I want the opposite. I'm kind of the opposite. I mean, I have had some dark days for sure, but and that's a reflection of some of the music. But I just want to be able to grow as a person and you know, be happy. I want, you know, I'm very, as complicated as I am, I think I'm very simple, and I admire simple things. So I want, you know, just to strive for happiness in that way, you know, and money doesn't equal that, and the big house doesn't equal that, but, you know, I would like some of that. I would like some of those things, but the way the business is, you know, I just have to keep striving, you know, for stability. That's one of the biggest things, you know, being in a band, going on tour, being on the road, having, you know, feeling isolated from your friends and family and all those things. Sometimes stability is the most important thing. So, yeah, I'm excited. Just, you know, as cliche as it sounds, I guess I'm excited to live life and share new experiences with people I care about.
Henry Derek, thank you for your time. Hope to see you play in Quebec or Montreal soon.
You will. We'll definitely, you know, be posting some tour dates pretty soon as they come in. But definitely, thank you.